Good morning to you all, good afternoon, and good evening, and greeting to you all according to your time where you are. So, welcome back to another episode, still on the course of child protection and welfare. So, on our last episode, which is last Sunday, I taught around why it is important to protect the rights of children, and I also talk around the history, how children were being seen, according to the time and the age. I talk about the different generations historically, how children's rights were being perceived and treated till now. You can get the last video on Facebook, so you can follow up with the classes so you can understand what we are talking about here. So today, on today's episode, we're talking about the key principles of child safety and well-being. The key principles of child safety and well-being. As we know that children, when it comes to child protection, it has to do with safeguarding children from harm and to promote their well-being. So these principles guide people like us, you and I. It guides the government, organizations, and communities in creating safe environments where children can thrive and develop and explore and then flourish. So that's what child protection is all about. The thing is that despite the challenges that comes with protecting children's rights, it's no big deal. Yes, you put your mind to it. It's a big deal when you cannot love a child. But loving a child, these principles, protecting children's rights, safeguarding them from harm, and creating an environment where they can thrive and develop and flourish is no big deal if you look at it. If you want to look at it from a brighter side of your mind. But when you are looking at it the other way around, it becomes difficult and children get hurt, children get deprived of their rights to live and survive. So the number one principle, very key principle of their safety is that number one is the paramountcy of the child's welfare. That's the number one key principle of the child's welfare, safety, and well-being. So the welfare of the child is the cornerstone of any consideration involving them. Anything that involves children, it has to do, or let me put it this way, let it always be something that their well-being, their welfare is being considered, as long as the life of a child is concerned. Okay, so all the decisions and actions must prioritize the best interests of that child, as long as the child is concerned. Okay, so when you are including when you are including all this, the well-being of the child, that's to do with their physical, emotional, educational, then psychological well-being and all that. That's one thing you should always keep in mind when you want to consider the safety and well-being of any child. So the number two principle of the safety and well-being of a child is non-discrimination. discrimination. Yes, all children should enjoy their rights. Every child, irrespective of where they are from, their background, the country, the race, and how that child comes. But what I mean by how the child comes, like all children are not the same. We have such children as special children that acquire special attention. You must love them equally. Yes, you must love them equally. Be you a parent, a guardian, a teacher, as long as you are an adult. Because we adults are the ones that these children need to grow. They need us, the adults, to do whatever it is they want to do in this life. So you must treat them, you must not discriminate either of this child. For instance, we have children that are fast learners. Let's take the school environment as an example. You are the teacher. You can tell that there are children that are very quick to learn whatever you are trying to explain in that learning environment, and there are children that are slow to learning. So it is not in your place to rate the fast learning student in the class higher than the one that is, trying to catch up. It doesn't make that child a sick or a different child from the other one. You just know that these children are different. No child is the same. Even if they are twins, they are not the same. So you must not discriminate them. You must love them all the same. You must love a child from a wealthy family the same way as the one not from a wealthy family. Yes. I have thought this before, just at Facebook, deleted some of the live videos where I painted a picture that I witnessed, yes, in a salon. You see this woman, she valued the child that was brought to her salon with a driver more than the one that didn't come with a driver with a car to her salon. So she left the one that didn't come with a driver and a car to lose her hair, to be doing some things that her apprentices are meant to do for her. So she herself went to attend to the one that they brought with a car and a driver. That is a total discrimination. She will ask the other one that they didn't bring with the car to cut extension so that they can do her hair, but the money is the same money that has been paid. So the way she will speak to this other child was different from the way she will speak to the other one. And even if I also noticed that this person, she does the same thing to adults, because she did it to me, I have to caution her. Say, look, madam, look, I'm paying. Do not take advantage of me because you are not seeing me as a big madam. Yes, I cautioned her. I didn't care about her age or whatever, even if she didn't want to accept it. So that is what some of us will do. You are treating one child better than the other because you are getting tips. Maybe you're a teacher at school or you're working where children are. So you treat some certain children better than the others because you are getting some small stipend from the parents. Because they have. Or those ones, they are not the given type. It is not the children's fault. Yes. You are there to serve children. They are there to serve the children. If a child is being kept under your care, it is your responsibility to look out for the well-being and safety of that child without discriminating the child at all. Or you are a parent, you have a child that didn't come healthy. Yeah, we have some children like that. A child that demands your attention more than others. you might not have the capacity to hire a healthcare person for that child, and you are the only one. And I want to let you know that sometimes it's very, very frustrating dealing with a child. For instance, you are dealing with a child with autism. You know that this child has issue with speech. You know how these things are. But if you do not love this child, you will realize that you are not treating that child well. Take that child as he or she comes. Accept them as they come. They have their own challenges too. So it is in your place to see them through the challenges they might be going through at the moment of their life. So do not discriminate them. You do not say, maybe this child always have better grades than the other. So you discriminate the one with better grade than the one that is struggling. It is your duty that you just put the other child through. Just love that child. What children need is love and kindness, not the other way around. And moreover, children don't complicate things. If you look at it, it's we adults that complicate things. Alright? So the third point is that it's right to survival and development. Children have the right to life, survival, and development to the maximum extent possible. If you are taking care of a child, do it to the maximum extent possible. If you are sending this child to school, make sure that with your ability, because it involves finance and everything else, with your ability, make sure that, oh, this is good for what I can do. Yes, because it's not everybody that will have the financial strength to send their children to best schools, live in the best environments, get best clothing, best of these basic things that children actually need to live. But do it to your best capability. And when you're quiet and when you look at it, you will know that, oh, this is what I can do. I am satisfied until things gets better. And this doesn't just apply to your own children alone, because most times it is children, most of the times, it is children who are vulnerable children from vulnerable families that are living with other people that are going through this abuse and deprivation. You have a child living with you who is not your biological child, but you have said you were going to care for that child. But at the end of the day, you are not giving that child your best, but your children are getting it. As look into your heart. Is that the right thing to should do? Yes. Okay, you can send your children to good school. This other child that is on your own, you can send that one to a good school. So why do you pick the child? That is of no use. That you should have even picked up the responsibility of that child. You should have just left that child to be with the owners. Yes. So taking care of children involves putting your best, giving your best. That when you sit down and think about it, you will know that yes, you are doing your best. Not the other way around. Not halfway. And the other way is only for the ones that you love. You don't take care of a child so that they won't say, oh, because you didn't take care of it. So that they won't say, let me just do it kind of attitude. So that they won't say I didn't do it. You do it from that place that they say your church mind, your good heart, your place of good heart. That's how you give a child the right to survive and develop. So this takes us to that. It goes beyond preventing harm. It goes beyond preventing harm when it comes to when you want a child to survive and develop. It includes ensuring access to education, yes, education, health care, nutrition, and emotional support. So because you keep a child in your house, because if I want to look at where I live, look, I grew up in a mansion, a big house, good security. But do you know that the kind of love I got, the kind of care I got, these people didn't give me things that as I was growing, this was a young woman. They didn't give me things that if I step outside, I could face my peers. Yes. But when you look at the environment, maybe that's what made my family said that is the best place you could be, because they know they had all the resources to make me a better child. Yes. Okay, the example is that their children went to best schools. Yeah, they will ask their friends. They will go to their friends at Island, GVC. They will ask their friends, which school is your child going, because they want to know. So when they verify the one that is best, that is the one their children will go. Me, I was there in one classroom of over 100 students in one government school. No amenities, no facilities. You know, I was there in a class that you can hardly even see the marker board because we're too many. Always noisy, you could hardly get what the teacher was teaching. That's the school I actually started from. Sometimes your notes will not be complete because it's not organized. I don't know how government school are now, but where I started from, it was chaotic. Me that I love to go to school, I was with my parents. I hated school. You have ras students everywhere. There were students that are just coming from, some of them don't have where to stay, some of them don't eat before they come, some of them have to go. I have a classmate who told me that she only takes pap, no sugar, nothing, that she lives with her auntie. So her auntie doesn't give her food, it's only pap she takes to school every day. And when she gets home like this, it's shop she's going after doing all the house chores. So that's a student coming to school. And she was this bitter girl. I have students, colleagues who have to go hug sachet water before they come to school. Some of them don't get to even shower. They just hug from the hugging, they drop the basin, they are coming to school just like that. So you know that some students don't get to shower before they come to school. And guess what? Some of these children, that is the lifestyle that their parents who are living. Yes. The first time I actually followed one of my classmates, I didn't even know. I followed her. We're living in a marketplace. That's the store. That's where they are sleeping. Under a tent. That is where they were sleeping and waking up every day. And these were my classmates. This is why, sometimes it is not, and they were with their parents. We look at it and say, wow, because it's just, they love the children, but it's just that they don't have the money, the resources to send them to good schools. And I was there, coming out of, they gave me a name, Ajibota. They gave me a name, Ajibota. But they actually didn't know what I was going through, that I was concealing. The only thing that was good for me, that I was coming out from a good house, a good environment. But I think at the school I went didn't even suit where I was coming out from. Yes. And I have other children. I think I was the one that went to that kind of school in that compound. That was it. So they gave the best education, best training to their children. I was there. Things, like I told the child that is having your parent that are capable to do some certain things for you at a certain age is something you should be grateful for. When as things that I was meant to get at some certain age of my life, I didn't get it. I didn't know. Because I was a child, I didn't know. Okay, for instance, things that I later got. Let me just say, ordinary national ID card. I didn't have it. Voter's card. No, at the age of 18, are you not supposed to get these things? Or be enlightened about this? I didn't know about those things. It was later on From when I grew up, I began to look for jobs and all that. Those some requirements were requested, and I have to go get those things. No, I got to a point that I was even you. I didn't know how to operate a computer. That's how bad it was. That's how bad it was. But this house had all the resources, everything given to the children. And the worst thing is that they will always choose house. They were always giving it to outsiders. Actually, yes, to command praises. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It will not be you. I was looking at it. How people, children from other who are not living in the house with me, with them, are going to good schools. I even know that their children were going to their children's school, like, and that's why I'm here doing all this work. But like I always say, it's not a thing that should hold as a grudge against anybody, because if I didn't go through all that, I wouldn't know what it means for a child to be in that situation. So I understand how this thing has pulled me back in life, how this thing has like stunted my life at some point. Things I'm supposed to have done at my age, I wasn't able to. It damaged me, both inside and out. Alright, so those are the things. I wasn't given the right to survival and development. I wasn't given the right to proper education and all that. The knowledge I needed to grow, I wasn't given. And it was available. Why? Because there was such thing as deprivation. I was deprived. I was deprived. And sometimes I think I'm grateful, because when I look at a child that is deprived, I understand the pain. I understand. When I look at a mother that does not have a helping hand and the children are suffering, I understand the pain, because my mom was in that situation. So sometimes I look at it that I think it was a stepping stone for me, for God to actually get me to what I am. Because I think some people don't understand some things when it comes to child abuse, exploitation, and deprivation. I thought I know someone who was planning to go and get a little child to come and live with her and be running errands for her. And when I asked how old is this child, she said it's 9. I said, is that person you want to go and bring to be running around for you and care for your child, and you just put to bed, and you're yet to even get yourself? You're gonna start taking out your frustration on this child. Better leave this child with your mother. Yes, this person didn't see anything wrong and wanted to go and bring a minor into her house to go and be running around for her. Please, if you are not capable, leave the child with the owner. Alright? So the fourth principle of a child's safety and well-being is participation and respect for the child's view. So this means that children should be involved in decisions that affect them. They have the right to express their views freely in matters affecting them. Their opinion should be considered in age-appropriate ways. So this fosters empowerment and builds trust. Some of us, we don't allow children to express themselves. Yeah, gone are those days that if a child wants to say say shut up, and that is the end. Yes, and this thing has made so many children to go out and make wrong decisions. The more you hinder a child from expressing themselves, expressing his or herself, the more this child will be discreet in some of his or her moves, and you wouldn't know when he or she will step out to make a dangerous or even a life-claiming decision. So the more you allow your children to participate in decision, and you respect them, you respect their views in things that affect them, the more you can actually deal with it easily. So that is the fourth point, and that you can actually protect the safety and well-being of your child. So let's just look at the fifth point. The fifth point here is early intervention and prevention. Yes, when it comes to intervening and preventing harm from a child, it's not something you should let it slide by or you procrastinate. You attack it immediately. So act early to prevent harm. Yes, this will help you to identify risks and vulnerabilities early. It can prevent abuse, neglect, and exploitation. That thing you are seeing that is happening to that child. Act on it immediately. Take action immediately. This will include if you are a community, educational center, parenting support, and accessible reporting systems. That's how you deal with. Those are the areas you should deal with in the education of that child, as in parenting. May them have access to things that will help them know that this is the right way to go about things and this is not the right way to go about things on time. Do not overlook a child. Yes, the children's brains are different from that of an adult. Sometimes they actually see sometimes depending on their age, they actually see one wrong thing as long as it's sweet to them as the right thing. But I think that they say what an elderly person sit down and see a child, even if it's climbs this tree, you cannot see. It's actually true, because if you are around children, the things they actually enjoy to do, you will just know that no, you need to look into it. It's wrong. They don't know it. You have to help them. You can't leave them like that. If you leave them like that, you are destroying them and you are damaging them. Alright? So the next point under child safety and well-being is accountability and transparency. If you are there with a child, everyone that involved in child welfare must be accountable. You know, even if you're not accountable to it, you're accountable to your subconscious mind that am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing towards this child under me? Sometimes you have to ask the child, be accountable and transparent with the child. This stuff we are doing here, are you okay with it? What do you think? So that you can know. You can't just say sometimes you feel you are doing the right thing, but you don't know where you are offending someone until you are open and accountable and transparent about it. And this comes through communication. Open communication. You lay the cards on the table. You talk about it. The same thing goes with the agencies and professionals. They must be clear about their roles and responsibilities. Yes, talking about roles and responsibilities. You state it clear that this child, this is your responsibility, because the child too has a role to play and responsibility. You, the adult, you have it. The same thing goes with the agency and the professionals. Be clear that this is what you are taking up, and this is the responsibility you are taking up, and this is what the child is going to respond to. Don't just force things. You must do this, you must do this. No. Talk about it. Sometimes they might not even understand what they are trying to do. Have you ever spoken to a child? You give a child an instruction, the child came back with something else. If you don't give it, you are like, So something you have to ask. Do you understand what I'm saying? What did I say? Sometimes you notice that they're not getting all. So you have to bisect them. That's how you actually do with children. Else, even you have it before you know you're dating and before you know it's abuse and all that. So everybody should be accountable and transparent when it comes to dealing with children's safety. Don't think they know. One thing that and I usually say that when it comes to children, I don't guess. I want to be certain. I want to know. I want to understand. I want to understand. I want to be clear. So accountability and transparency is the number 6 point under child safety and well-being. But because of time, I will end it here today. I will come back to it by next Sunday to complete that particular subject. So my name is Udom-Udofia. I'm a family psychology specialist. So we focus on empowering children and family, strengthening them, educating and creating knowledge on how we should, nourish and treat children and train them as well. So thank you very much for joining us for today's episode. I'll see you by next Sunday.